the man of the moment to talk about, well, essentially the listing of the technology unit, but I'm sure we can squeeze in an opinion or two from him about how is he seeing the current scenario of Indian infrastructure and what does he see FY16 to bring up. Executive Chairman of Larsen Toubro joins us right now on the show. Really good having you, Mr. Naik. Thanks so much for taking the time out. Now, no secret really that it's November or December. Very, very well, sir. Thank you so much. I'm saying no secret really that it's November or December that we will see the IPO. You don't reckon it could happen sooner than that, right? It will take this much of time for you to set everything in place.
Well, I mean, we have set the process on. The documentation in various departments as required as per this, the filing requirement is getting ready. And it will take 2-3 months before we could file it with SEBI sometime in September end. And SEBI takes 2-3 months, and that's how we came to a likely IPO date of November, but not later than December.
And okay, the follow-up to that would be, sir, that I understand that for a company having a brand of L&T, no valuation is right valuation. But I reckon you're doing a 10% divestment. You're surely eyeing at some valuation levels which, to your mind, are attractive for the shareholders of L&T. Would it be 2.5 billion? Would it be 3 billion? Or would it be over that?
I don't think I'll make comments on that because you should talk to various analysts who have been studying L&T Infotech for last several years, and they will be better in a position to guide you than I would.
Mr. Naik, one question that comes to my mind is really about the timing of this issue, because it's been a while coming. At a time when the industry is going through its own process of kind of finding its, base as far as margins are concerned, there's a bit of pressure with expansion and growth. Your timing with listing this unit intrigues me a bit. Why now?
Well, this is the transformational change that is coming into the industry, where the completely new digitalization solutions and the analytics and big data and all of it is taking really the next generation of IT solutions. And we started our IT company 15 years after everyone else, and therefore we had a handicap of 15 years and lack of brand because we started so late. Now the new generation of the technology is going to be the same starting point for everyone, whether you are 15-20 years ahead of us or otherwise. So it's a race starting for all together. And I think L&T will focus on the new technology and will create a niche of our own. And we think that we will have this phase as a catching up phase what we possibly missed in the past. Right. And therefore, we need to put the top talent in place, without which it cannot be done. And as you know, IT industry is full of varieties of compensation packages, and the stock option plays a very predominant role. And we need to put at least a CEO, which I think we are looking at several options, and just below the CEO, 7 to 8 key people, including the one who will be in charge of the digital and Horizon 2, and create an organization of that kind, and middle management about 40 people. Now, unless we bring these people, I think the company will not be able to really go ahead with its plans to be in line with other major companies who are also going in the same space. And therefore, we have been planning this for quite some time. But we thought now if we delay it anymore, we would miss the bus one more time. And that's the reason why we are going ahead now to create a team of something which will be the winner.
Fair enough. That answers part of my question. What would be your differentiation strategy then, sir? I know you're talking about new age technology. You're talking about, hiring the right people. Margins for the business have been lower than the industry. If you're looking at incurring higher costs by paying higher salaries, by getting the right talent pool, I'm sure there is a very significant and a very well etched out strategy on how to generate more revenues to ensure that margins go up from the levels that they are at this point.
Well, we are not that bad in the margin. We are about 20-21%, and our PAT is about 15%. Which is kind of not so bad compared to many other companies. But we want to improve the margin, But at the same time, we'll be incurring the cost equal to 2.5% of the sales to build the marketing and sales organization, the technology organization, the new age technology organization, and so on. But we have launched our Operation Excellence program, and that is going well, and cut down the costs to the extent of about 3.5%. So although our cost may go up by 2.5% in the initial phase before it can be recovered several months after, our cost cutting will bring us at the net level, we hope, 1% higher margin than otherwise.
Okay, now just a question, Mr. Naik. You believe all of this will take in care of the rise in manpower costs as well? Because the reason I ask this to you is two-pronged. One, the reasons that you mentioned, that you're going to hire a lot of talent, and two, your peers in the industry do mention that the last couple of quarters, they are seeing attrition problems and salary problems to key individuals as well, and they are facing the pressure on the manpower costs.
Well, you are very right there, that the attrition is gone up all over the industry, so as in L&T Infotech, and we have taken the necessary actions. Of course, to the right people, we have given higher salaries, and that is going to obviously increase the cost. It will further increase when we hire the top talent which we are talking about, but most of it will be in the form of a stock option, and therefore may not have an immediate concern about the considerable wage bill increase. But at the end of the day, yes, if you want to really be in business, if you want to go in higher technology, if you want to grow faster, there are certain minimum expenses you have to deal with. But at the same time, unwanted expenses and a major cost-cutting program has to be undertaken, by the way, which we have undertaken for the last 9 to 10 months, and it is yielding results. So when you see both the issues together, I think net level our margin will go up by 1% is really what we are expecting.
And having shared with us your operational metrics, so to say, I believe 19, 20, 21% could be a ballpark range for now. What about the run rate for L&T Infotech? I'm sure you don't want people to see L&T Infotech from a perspective of the kind of revenue numbers that you share for FY16. You would ideally want people to look at this company with a 4-year, 5-year perspective. What's the kind of CAGR growth or the run rate that you believe this company can clock in post this issue?
Well, we have been growing at the rate of about 20% average or more, 20 to 22%. And we want to keep the momentum up somewhere around 17 to 20% for the next several years, and then also make some acquisition in the right technologies and at the right space where we get an edge on marketing or on practice, and therefore can grow a little faster, including inorganic growth.
And that's something that's going to keep the market excited as far as the L&T Infotech story goes. Mr. Naik, on that very point, if you're looking at inorganic growth also contributing to your top line and bottom line performance, so what kind of niche areas would you be looking at acquiring businesses in? Would they be domestic, international? And how would that add to the current positioning of L&T Infotech?
I think that is too much of a detail at the moment to discuss with you, because there is a lot of internal strategy discussion going on. As also we have appointed McKinsey to look at which are the niche technologies we must get in, considering the L&T strength and weakness at this point. And it is in 7 to 8 months that our 5-year strategic plan will be ready for whole of L&T Group, and L&T Infotech is part of that. And the right time will be to talk after a few months, and not now, as to what we are going and where we are going.
Sure, sir, appreciate that. But just one word on the management, the new management that you're looking to employ and, are in talks to kind of put in place. You think before the issue hits the markets, that would be an issue that would be sorted?
Well, I think that is very clear that we have to sort the management and leadership issue before the IPO. That goes without saying. And our efforts are very much there on, for last several weeks that we are looking at various possible people, and we will continue to do so in the next 2 months so that we have a team in place by November.
Okay, Mr. Naik, can't let you go. You've given us almost every detail possible that you can possibly give at this stage with regards to L&T Infotech. Just a couple of more questions. Broadly on what everybody's talking about, the India infrastructure story as well. You kind of spoken extensively during your Q4 numbers as well. But how do you see the next 2 or 3 quarters shaping up? Because increasing, a lot of people are getting worried about how private sector participation would be in this space. And that the first leg of participation into the Indian infra story will need to come in from the government necessarily. What are your thoughts on the same?
Well, public-private partnership experience of the last several years has been so bad that the contracts were one-sided and everyone thought it was a sunrise industry. And they all jumped into developing ports and airports and highways and so on, something which they did not know much about how to do the business. And 9 out of 10 have not gone right because they neither had, some of them did not have a domain knowledge, some did not have the required finance to live with a back-ended earning, because all these projects will have a back-ended earning, and first 5 years, 7 years, they normally do not make the 2 ends meet. Now, therefore, I think with that experience and financial restructuring that many industries are doing, and a lot of the assets on sale right now, I don't expect too many private partnership PPP program coming in place. So government will have to fund it. Government will have to make the infrastructure story far more attractive for foreign investor to come in. I think they have made 100% ownership in infrastructure, but that's not enough. They will have to give, like about 12-15 years ago, it was in power, that they will have to give some fixed return to the investor. Until such time, we find that over the next few years, the private sector and PPP model succeeds. I don't expect the private investment, other than the foreign direct investment, which if you can make it attractive enough and can come in, to be more than 20%. Considering that the government expects it to be 50%, it will be far short of it.
Okay, Mr. Naik, really appreciate you taking the time out and joining us and giving us this perspective and an insight really into L&T Infotech.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.